around and said, yeah, why? She's hitting the box. I don't know, piece of junk. What's the matter with this thing? So what's the problem? She said, according to this, you can hear what cats and dogs can hear. I don't know what to... She's hitting a box. She says, I'm going to send you to a specialist. You ever been to the specialist? You know, they got this Yo Mama soundproof room, you know, the thick door, you know. You know, you got the person, you know, sitting behind the glass, you know. You feel like you're in a people aquarium. Sir, would you sit down? But, anyway, so at the time we lived in Green Bay, Wisconsin, and right downtown Green Bay there was a place called Eye and Ear Associates. I'd never heard of them before. I had no reason to hear from them. But she said, I'm going to send you these people. They have all this fancy equipment. And so she takes the doctor's pad and she writes Eye, Ear, and she abbreviates Associates and hands it to me. I said, what kind of doctor is this? It's a true story. She says, what do you mean? I said, I heard of eye, ear, and throat. I never heard of this. She said, let me see that. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. So she wrote out Associates. I went, oh, okay. Thought I was going to be in for a very uncomfortable test there for a minute. So I go to the eye, ear, and, you know, doctor, and I get in there and I sit down, and she's behind the glass, and she has to push the button to talk. You know, okay, now put on the headphones. When you hear the beep, spin around, and we began. I kid you not, she goes, really, you can hear all that? I felt like a moron, all right? I take the printout to the specialist. He goes, what are you doing here? You got better ears than me. I said, I don't know, man. She says, you know, are you ready at 6 o'clock? So we saw her go get it. So I go home and I walk in the door and she says, well, what'd the doctor say? She doesn't sound like that, by the way. I say that because people used to come up to me saying, you know, she doesn't have a voice like that. I just do it for effect. By the way, we've been married for 32 years. We have 2 grandsons. Very cool. Beautiful boys. One's 10 months old, the other one's 8, and they are just such a delight. I love grandchildren because now it's payback. Come here. You want some more sugar? There you go. Okay. Bye. You know. My son Philip's here with us. He's running the audio, and on our 30th wedding anniversary, Phil gives me a call up and he says, hey, Dad, 30 years. That's really something. I said, well, thank you, sir. I said, but you know, truthfully, Phil, I said, it only feels like 10 minutes. He goes, really? I said, yeah, 10 minutes underwater. Oh, light and all the girls. Oh, I can't believe he said that. What is she gonna think? It's just the joke box, all right? It's just a joke. So I come back from my ear thing. She said, well, what'd they say? I said, well, they said I can hear what cats and dogs can hear. She says, well, it's not your problem. Your problem is you just don't pay attention. And I thought, but I've been paying attention. I was watching this single tasking thing, and so I thought, I'm going to do a test. I want to see how far she gets away before I can't hear her. So the next day we're sitting in the kitchen, and she comes up and she's talking to me, la 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 la, and I go, uh-huh. And then she walks a little bit further away. She says, la 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 la. I go, okay, I can hear that. And she gets a little further away, la 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 la, just doing multitasking thing. Then she goes into the living room, la 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 la. And now she goes into another room. She's now on the other side of the house, still talking to me. I said, hey! She yells back, what? I said, I'm on the other side of the house. She goes, you don't listen anyway. The next day, I caught her. This time she goes upstairs. She's on another floor, still giving me vital information. That's when it started dawning on me. Wait a minute. We might single task, but these women so multitask, they just keep doing what they're doing, and whether or not you're in the same area code is irrelevant. Irrelevant. They're just irrelevant. That's the word. I had a guy the other day says, you know, my wife's like that. She'll be talking to me. She's by the dryer, and she'll be telling me something important. La 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 la. Then she'll stick her head in the dryer, reaching for something. La 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 la. And boy, you better do that, or you're gonna be in big trouble. She still does that to me. We'll be like a real busy highway, just all kinds of noise, and she'll be talking. You know something that's really important? So you better be careful about it. What? I didn't hear what you said. Laws of physics, girls, it applies to you. It would help if your husband was in the same area code. Okay. Now, I first shared this story at a men's conference that I was speaking at, and I thought it was just a funny story that had happened to me. But as I'm sharing it, all these men's heads are going. I had one guy come up to me afterwards. He says, you know, Pastor, I'll be in the bathroom. The door is closed. The fan is on. There's tile everywhere, so sound just bounces around in there. I'm standing there. All I can hear is the sound of rushing water. And she's still talking to me! You know, I figured out that's why we miss sometimes, girls. What? What? Another mystery solved. Girls, don't be so multitasking that you're doing a gazillion things giving him vital information. All right? And especially if he's doing something. I'm telling you, this simple thing that I'm talking to you creates more arguments and more frustrations in marriages, and we're fighting over nothing. But you know you're really married to a multitasker when during a moment of intimate passion, she suddenly blurts out,
The plumber says the toilets are broken.
Focus, woman, focus! But man, she can make love to you and plan next week's dinners and, think about the toilets. Oh, it's all the same to her. I need my tablet back up here. I want to show you something. In no other area, men's brains and women's brains, do men and women think more differently than in this area of sex. And we'll get into it in a lot more detail tomorrow. But I want to show you something here that I think will be of great interest to you. Give my lovely assistant a hand. Now, sex is a pretty big issue, particularly for men. For us, our sexual interest peaks at about age 18 and then goes down from there. So if you were to chart it out, it would look like something like this. It peaks at about age 18 and then goes down.